Hello, cherished viewers. You are all welcome to my program, Mining for the Truth. Joseph Fata is my name. From Ghana, West Africa. I attend Church of Christ. Mining for the Truth refers to the process of digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ. It has two purposes as follows. One, to teach the word. John 1 verse 1. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. To prove this, you go to Genesis 1 verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The plural Hebrew word there for God is Elohim, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. The Son is the Word and Jesus Christ. 2, to teach the truth, as you can find on the screen. John 8:32. And you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. What is the truth? John 17:17. Sanctify them by your truth, your word is truth. What is the truth manifestation? John 14 verse 6. And Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except by me, or except through me. This means that in Acts 4 verse 12, Jesus Christ is the only name upon which we are being saved. No other name is given for salvation except Jesus Christ. So that is parallel to John 14 verse 6. I welcome all my viewers from all over the world. China, Australia, Philippines, India, USA, Pakistan, Ghana, South Africa, even Cameroon. In fact, I'm everywhere. Thank you, all my subscribers and viewers. In fact, the truth is that you have been doing well and have been helping me. You have been viewing the videos. I wonder how you view the videos. At least within the first 10 hours, I've gotten more than 300 viewers. It is quite amazing. God bless you so much for making the time to view the videos. As you are viewing, please share for those or to those who love the gospel of Christ. On that note, we are on the book of Ecclesiastes. Theme is the book of Ecclesiastes. And then the topic is searching for the true meaning of life. We are done with the chapter 1. So chapter 1, episode 2 ended last week. The pedagogy of chapter 1, episode 2 ended last week. We are continuing. So today, what do I have for you? Today, we are moving straight to chapter 2. So we say the pedagogy of chapter 2. The pedagogy. I'm using my educational terms, actually. Now, today, we are going to look at only one objective of pleasures and palaces. The next time, we'll continue with when life dead ends. When life dead ends. And that will be the 2 verse 12 to 26. And then we will continue. Death is blind to wisdom and foolishness. Then the chapter 2 will end. So today, it will be only on the chapter 2. So the pedagogy of chapter 2, episode 1 actually, of places and palaces. Of pleasures and palaces. So we will read Ecclesiastes 2 verse 1 to 2. Of course, I've been using the King James Version, the New King James Version. Ecclesiastes 2 verse 1 to 2. I said in my heart, come now, I will test you with mirth. Therefore enjoy pleasure, but surely this also was vanity. Verse 2. I said of laughter, madness, and of mirth. What does it accomplish? Now, before we start the chapter 2, even though previously I have officially treated the chapters 1 to 6 and then from 6 to 12 as a summary and then the overview. But because we have begun the chapter 2, now let's see the main concept. It has 3 main concepts at first. 1, the pursuit of pleasure. So these are points that you must note. 1, the pursuit of pleasure. 2, wealth and power. Wealth and power. And then the last one, wisdom and folly. So these are the major content when we consider the chapter 2 of Ecclesiastes. So once again, I will repeat. 1, the pursuit of pleasure. 2, wealth and power. And then the last one, wisdom and folly. Wisdom and folly. So someone too can say that the futility of seeking ultimate happiness and fulfillment through wealth. All these are the content of the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 2. The futility of seeking ultimate happiness and fulfillment through wealth. Yeah, through wealth. So all those things are there. If you want, you can make it the 4th point, but I limited to point 1 to point 3. Now, after I've already read, from the discipline of careful thoughts, he cracks first to a passionate pursuit of the sensual. He pours himself into every activity pleasing to the senses, bombarding himself with delight of the flesh. Now, I mentioned pleasures and palaces. So let me highlight it. I say highlight it. Zoom and then you will see it. So chapter 2 of pleasures and palaces. So let me see if I can explain. For the palace, we can say it is reference to earthly power, actually. Earthly power and wealth. So the palaces will be earthly power and wealth. And then the pleasures, that one is God's giving, actually. So you can say God's blessings. When God has blessed you, then it's where you can think of the pleasure aspect of it. Now, when we're reading the text, we made mention of mirth. So I will zoom it bigger and then you see. Okay. So mirth is seen on the board. Now, mirth here means what? Exceedingly gladness or rejoice. Exceedingly gladness or rejoice. So I think this will give you an insight to the issue of pleasures being God's blessings and then palaces, with reference to earthly power and wealth. So that's what King Solomon was saying, or what he's telling us. So basically, it will be from chapter 2, verse 1 to 11. So you let me read and then we do justice to it. That's what we are looking at, chapter 2, verse 1 to 11. So really, I've read to 2, so I'll continue the 3. I said in my heart how to gratify my flesh with wine, while guiding my heart with wisdom, and how to lay hold of folly, how to lay hold on folly till midnight, till I might see. Now, I said again, I said in my heart how to gratify my flesh with wine, while guiding my heart with wisdom, and how to lay hold on folly till I might see what was good for the sons of men to do under heaven all the days of their life. Verse 4. I made my works great. I built myself houses and planted myself vineyards. I hope you are listening to King Solomon. I made myself gardens and orchards, and planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. 6. I made myself water pools from which to water the growing trees of the grove. I acquired male and female servants, and had servants born in my house. Yes, I had greater possessions of herds and flocks than all who were in Jerusalem before me. So none was comparable. I also gathered for myself silver and gold, and the special treasures of kings and of the provinces. I acquired male and female singers, the delights of the sons of men, and musical instruments of all kinds. 9. So I became great and excelled more than all who were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained with me. 10. Whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them. I did not withhold my heart from any pleasure, for my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was my reward from all my labor. Last one. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had done, and on the labor in which I had toiled, and indeed all was vanity and grasping for the wind. There was no profit under the sun. These are what we're going to discuss, of course, by paraphrasing. I said in my heart how to gratify my flesh with wine, while guiding my heart with wisdom, and how to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was good for the sons of men to do under heaven all the days of their lives. That's what we just read in Ecclesiastes 2 verse 3. It strikes us as strange that the preacher should begin intentionally to experiment with folly. But this is likely a word used to retrospect. So you can imagine the king here telling us about experimenting with folly. Now, retrospect here can be used as a noun, okay? But here I'm going to use it as an intransitive verb. So don't get me wrong. Some can use the word as a noun, and I want to use it as intransitive verb, which means to refer back. To refer back. Okay, so we say that. But this is likely a word used in retrospect. He's trying to make reference to the past, his own past life, reflection, to go back over in a thought. That's the sense of retrospect. Using it as intransitive verb, please. I'm not using it as a noun, but intransitive verb to mean to reflect back. So we mean reflection, or to refer back, or you can say to go back over in thought. So he's trying to recall, if you want to put that he experimented with folly. However, he was guiding his heart. So it means that then his heart was not fooled, or he didn't follow the foolishness with his heart. However, he could be partial. The verb which its original is formed usually indicates moral and spiritual stupidity. Moral and spiritual stupidity, rather than just intellectual foolishness. Now let's go to 1 Samuel 18 verse 18. 1 Samuel 18 verse 18. Now let's see what Samuel told Saul. 1 Samuel 18 verse 18. Saul was misbehaving, and then Samuel had to be bold, or he faced the fact. And Samuel said to Saul, "You have done foolishly. You have not kept the commandment of the Lord your God, which he commanded you. For now the Lord should have established your kingdom over Israel forever." Here, Saul rushed to sacrifice. So Samuel would tell him that to obey is better than sacrifice. Of course, he thought that Samuel was wasting time, and therefore he acted in haste. So it was a hasty decision. The moment he was done, then Samuel appeared. So he was asking, or he was rebuking that you have done foolishly. Let's go to 2 Samuel, article 24, verse 10. Let's see. At 24, verse 10. Very good. So 2 Samuel 24, verse 10. Let's see the story of David as well. 24, verse 10. And David's heart condemned him after he had numbered the people. So David said to the Lord, I have sinned greatly in what I have done. But now I pray, O Lord, take away the iniquity of your servant, for I have done foolishly. You see, nowadays when you are preaching or teaching and then you mention foolishness, then someone is thinking that you intentionally came there to insult. But the Bible isn't a book of comforting, okay? Rather, it rebukes. So here we say that the verb which its original is formed usually indicates moral and spiritual stupidity rather than just intellectual foolishness. Thus, the wickedness of folly. So Ecclesiastes 7 verse 25. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 25. I applied my heart to know, to search and seek out wisdom and the reason of things, to know the wickedness of folly. Once again, King Solomon was somehow experimental. To see the behavior of himself and then the inhabitant. But in all cases, he is telling us that he guided his heart even through the foolishness. Now Solomon speaks specifically here of gratifying himself with wine. So this is what he was telling us, or he's telling us. He speaks of, or specifically, gratifying himself with wine. So which one is that? So don't think that it was a... Anyway, a wine could be alcoholic or non-alcoholic, okay? Now whichever wine that he drank, he guided his heart. And we are aware that in the Old Testament, wine misled people. When the daughters of Lot wanted to rape him, they drank him and then they were able to rape him. Now, does he mean to refer to drunkenness? Proverbs 20 verse 1, 23 verse 29 and 30, 31 verse 4 and 5, or simply to the delight of good and nourishing, but none intoxicating food. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 7 and 8. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 9 verse 7 and 8. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 7 and 8. Go, eat your bread with joy, and drink your wine with a merry heart, for God has already accepted your works. 8. Let your garments always be white, and let your head lack no evil. Let's read the Proverbs, and then we move on. So 20 verse 1, 23 verse 29. It is honorable for a man to stop striving, since fool can start a quarrel. So 24. 23 verse 29 and 30. Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has contentions? Who has complaints? Who has wounds without cause, who has readiness of eyes. Those who linger long at the wine, those who go in search of mixed wine. We are still on the same Proverbs. 30, I even read the 28, but it should have been 29 and 30. Anyway, 31 verse 4 and then 5. Proverbs 31, 4 and 5. It is not for kings, Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princesses intoxicating drink. 5. Lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the justice of all the affected. So here we are questioning that which wine was King Solomon referring to? Does he mean to refer to drunkenness, or simply to the delight of guilt and nourishing but non-intoxicating food? And is the folly here in immoral excesses, or in trying to turn otherwise innocent pleasure? You mean food, good food, pleasing food, clothing, music, as we can read from Ecclesiastes 12, 2 verse 8b. Ecclesiastes 2 verse 8b. I acquired male and female singers, the delight of the sons of men, a musical instrument of all kinds. So here, are you making reference to drinking, to become a drunkard, to be intoxicated in the wine, or just a soothing wine while a music is being enjoyed? Into the word purpose of life, so it's a question. And is the folly here in immoral excesses, or in trying to turn otherwise innocent pleasures into the whole purpose of life? The picture seems very intense on telling us that his experiment with pleasure never led him to mindless excess. That's why he said, while guiding my heart with wisdom. Perhaps practically it does not matter whether one dives headfirst into. Now, before we come here, I think we have explained that he wasn't actually into intoxicating, and even if it was so, he wasn't guarding his heart, knowing very well that some kings before him became victims who behaved abnormally for being intoxicating with strong wine. So being strong wine or soothing wine, he said, while guiding my heart with wisdom. So you can see that some people are drinking, but still they have their senses. They know their limitation. They are fully conscious that if I exceed my limit, it might lead me to behave or misbehave abnormally. So therefore, he said, while guarding my heart with wisdom. Now, perhaps practically it doesn't matter whether one dives headfirst into pleasure or tastes its delight with respectable prudence. Neither will bring any ultimate satisfaction. The former may cause more momentary havoc, but both will end in emptiness of heart. Whether one delights with a respectable prudence, neither will bring any ultimate satisfaction. Whether you are drinking hard drink or soft drink, even guarding your heart, it doesn't bring anything. They all don't lead to anything, but rather emptiness of heart. So King Solomon here was trying to describe the enjoyment he had inside his palace. And once again, we made mention of the palace as earthly power and wealth. Once you have money and you are king, you can order for any meat, you can order for any food, you can order for any wine. It is full of merry making. This is an essential warning for a generation intent on living in a perpetual party. So the youth who are interested in always partying, betting, or money consciousness, technology, sexual pleasures, entertainment itself into stupefaction. So you could see that some may base their debate. In fact, we have so many people who even justify their polygamous marriages using King Solomon. That's why we call him the wisest fool. And previously, when we were deliberating about who was King Solomon, we saw that God knew of only his first wife, Princess Nama, I'm sure, from Palestine. The only wife that God knew. God was annoyed when he took second wife. How much more the 1,000 where he cropped? So don't justify yourself with this. If Solomon had done something better, do you think that you would have used a son to ascribe him? How can you reference someone who was so wise, rather with a son, against the New Testament? Christ didn't come to tell us or to encourage us to marry two. If you marry two, or if you are married to two wives, if you have one wife and cheating, being a man or a woman, when you die in this, you go to hell. So you can't use Solomon to justify yourself. King Solomon wasn't a Christian. That's what you must know. King Solomon didn't live under Christian dispensation. So if you don't know the Bible, you have to study and then stop justifying yourself. So if you're a youth, you are in continuous party, betting, or money consciousness, technology. You are full of technology. You buy and sell using the most expensive and then current and modern gadgets. Sexual pleasures. We have men who are also into prostitution. So we say womanizing. Sleeping with one girl from another, from one girl to the other. Experimenting, they want to be adventurous. Entertaining itself into stupidity or stupefaction. Also soon the endless banqueting grows stale. The ovation and laughter dies. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 6. And you can't shout forever. And can you dance from now till the next day? Let's see Ecclesiastes 7 verse 6. For like the crackling of tongues under a spot, so is the laughter of the fool. So you can see that all so soon the endless. Initially, you thought it would never end. Initially, so the endless banqueting grows stale. People start to lose interest. The ovation and laughter dies. People who are cheering up, giving you fans to boost your confidence, to be happy, to see that you are alive, they become weary. For how long can you laugh? For how long can you clap? For how long can you shout? For how long can you applaud? The pursuit of pleasure is necessarily flawed by its essential selfishness and devaluation of others. It becomes increasingly addictive and satisfying. People can't stay in their own homes. It is quite unusual to hire a room, but you cannot stay in, and you find your happiness outside. How possible? Then which type of apartment is that? So as you see me, I'm particular with hiring apartments. I prefer reserved area where I'll be happy inside. Once again, I don't like outing, as I've been repeating continuously in my previous video. So you see that they are not satisfied. They want to move from one place to the other. So we're saying that it becomes increasingly addictive. Those who are gambling and then attending birthday parties, pool parties, dancing, movies, a whole lot, and they are not okay. They have been moving from one spot to the other. They have been drinking one wine to the other. They have been experimenting, and yet they are not satisfied. This is not to disparage innocent fun, but building our life on it is to mindlessly and endlessly relive some sophomoric stage of life. I am not here to condemn that. Don't enjoy your life. King Solomon didn't say so. You won't find this in the Bible anywhere that don't enjoy life as a youth. We are learning it chapter by chapter. So we reach a point where the same person was saying that enjoy your youth. So the Bible is not against that make money. No, it is not true. You must make money to enjoy your life. No one is preventing you from making money. If you want to travel, you can travel. You can buy cars to drive. You can go some vacation abroad. Bible isn't against this one. We are making reference to when you are not guiding your heart. So King Solomon was guiding his heart so that he does not fall into foolishness. Now, a sophomoric is addictive, and it means lacking in maturity. So that's why we are saying that this is not to disparage innocent fun. So you can have your fun. When we say innocent, means that devoid of sin. Actually, and you can celebrate your birthday in your own room. I myself don't like to celebrate my birthday. I don't have time for those things. Bible isn't against it. I don't like it. So you can have a small by not inviting. You are a Christian and celebrate your birthday and you are inviting unbelievers. What do you expect for them to come to the party with? Indecent persons. They may come and then even request of alcohol. So if you're a Christian, preferably you celebrate your birthday with your fellow Christian sisters, so you can invite them. Light has no linkage to darkness. So the best is that you can invite your fellow Christian sisters and then have some get together, small one, then you are done. Of course, you're not going to play foolish and useless wedding songs. These are things that you must know. If you're a Christian and celebrating your birthday, that's not call for foolish and useless wedding songs. When you're a Christian. Hey, so who are those celebrating their birthday? Or Church of Christ, then the mention of congregation. How did they hear? The foolish and useless song that you were playing. That was what attracted them. This is not to disparage, okay, so innocent fun, but building our life on it is to mindlessly and endlessly relive some sophomoric. It means that always you think that you are a child. All what you care is enjoyment. All what you care is enjoyment. So therefore, you even refuse to go. So we're saying that the sophomoric being addictive means lacking in maturity. This is show that you're mature. Life is not always about an enjoyment. Ecclesiastes 3:1 is saying that there's time for everything. So don't always rely on enjoyment. Some even do so that it is assumed that it will erase their mind from death and problems. You are a liar. You go home and meet your problems waiting for you. So don't think that by going out to enjoy means that all the problems are gone. No, it's not true. Now Solomon refers later in this session, as we have read in Ecclesiastes 2:8, to another sensual delight to which he gave himself. The delight of the sons of men. That's what we see in the New King James Version. Now when we go to the NASB, or as it may be better translated, the pleasures of men, that is many concubines. Many concubines. So you see that he was actually enjoying himself with his concubines. 700, if I'm not mistaken. So he was enjoying his life with them. So you see that he could have arranged series of parties, merrymaking, to enjoy his life with them. This may be a case of understatement, for the king actually had 700 princesses, wives, and some concubines. Okay, so the concubines were 300, and then the princesses were 700, as we have read already in 1 Kings 11 verse 3. Okay, that one was even in the previous teaching. So let's read 1 Kings chapter 11 verse 3. So the verse 4 was when his heart was turned away. Verse 7. And he had 700 wives, okay, princesses, and 300 concubines. If you say that, and his heart and his wife turned away his heart. And verse 4. For it was so when Solomon was old that his wife turned his heart after other gods, and his heart was not loyal to the Lord his God, as was the heart of his father David. One wonder how in his relatively short lifetime he never managed to hold even a brief conversation with each of them. Yes, upon what he said that he enjoyed with them, he couldn't have even attended to them all, because he died for 40 years. So supposing that he married 1,000 women for 40 years, what was his timetable? His proverb suggests that they must have given him as much pain as pleasure. So Proverbs 21 verse 9 and 19. So 21 verse 9 and 19. Uh, 21. Sorry. Verse 9. When we are done, then we go to 19. Better to dwell in a corner of a house top than in a house shared with a contentious woman. 19. Better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. 27. Verse what? Let me check. Verse 15. A continual dripping on a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. So you see how it is describing women. So that's why we are saying that they must have given him as much as pain as pleasure. No man has ever rested for marrying two or taking a second wife. No man. Even to those who claim that, oh, they are at peace or they were at peace. It is a lie. No woman wants to share with another person, in case you are unaware. No woman wants to share. One man, one heart. One heart, one woman. So naturally, I remember having a conversation with Doris Today I didn't invite her. Once I didn't do it, so you are invited. I love you and then you love me too. She was my first wife, or she's my fifth wife. So when she was about to complete her education, I asked her to choose the next wife, being, of course, as a mentee. She doesn't talk much, just as I am. I sometimes forces her to talk because I want to know her problems. So as we were all joking and then sitting down, I always said, won't you choose another person? To some point, her reply was that I don't share my property. You see, aha. So this is still in my mind that I don't share my property. But in future, she chose one called Precious. All right. So now woman wants to share officially. She wants to own her husband. That's all. So you can imagine your husband leaving you for another woman or your rival. And in the Bible, even the issue with Jacob, Rachel and Leah, though they were siblings, but there was a friction or conflict between them. They were siblings, so they were siblings. How much more from different tribe and their background and their country? You see. So Solomon suffered a lot, and so also those who are using King Solomon as a pattern to marry two or more, they are all suffering. Mostly, they are liars and cheats. They are hypocrites. That I will love them equally. You are a liar. You can't serve two masters. You can't love two women equally. It is impossible. So also, King Solomon was partial in loving the wife. So see the person that you are following and then using him as your partner. That they must have given him as much as pain as pleasure. Even though he enjoyed it. But they cause him pain as well. And you know women, and in fact, a woman naturally is a problem actually. One woman alone is even a burden. That's why I don't like to stay in a compound house. The men can live comfortably and peacefully. The moment they marry and bring women to the home or the building or the apartment, the friction will start. See, small confusion will start. Sometimes it will turn into a protracted feud. And this will lead to litigation, requiring a sitting for a settlement of disputes. Men are peaceful than women. So the moment two women are all loving one man, there's a jealousy there. And the jealousy will lead to envy. Envy will lead to hatred. Will lead to quarrel in that order. And this will end in supremacy. I'm the first wife. I'm the second wife. I'm beautiful than you. I can impress her. That a whole lot will start. And then one will feel that, no, I'm losing to the other. That's where the conflict will start. There will always be in competition, irrelevant competition. Because each of them want to impress. One woman alone is a problem. Why will you go and cheat? For what? One woman alone is enough. Why would you go out to cheat? For what? They are all the same. Same features. So what's the problem? If you find something outside in which it's not found in your wife, you educate her to do so. The value is the same actually. Of course, my father was a sensible man. He warned me that I must marry only one. My father wasn't a Christian, but I'm surprised. And he advised me when I was 15 years of age. I then completed my junior high. He said that I must marry only one. One is enough. My father wasn't a Christian. You were a Christian. How are you advising your child? As we claim. And they became the primary ground for his apostasy from God, as we read in 1 Kings 11 verse 4. Here was when he had gone old. So those of you who are in churches and then challenging that you can marry an unbeliever and then bring her into the church. It is a way of winning souls for Christ. Matthew 28, verse 18 to 20. Mark 16, verse 15 to 16. Of course, the Great Commission, that we should go teach, baptize, and then win souls for Christ. So are you using marriage as a Great Commission? I'm asking you. Are you married to fulfill the Great Commission? Now the church is shrinking in numbers. That means you have to marry more. The numbers have reduced, okay? Or the numbers are reducing. And you are telling me that you are a Christian. You married an unbeliever. And she or he is now in the church. So therefore, it is a form of evangelism. Fine, it is true. I understand. And we are saying that the church has now decreased in number. Will you go and then marry more and bring them into the church of it? And some people too will debate that. We know of Christians, the husband was committed, the wife was also committed, or they are all committed. Yet after marriage, they have backslided, or the wife has caused the husband to backslide, or the husband has caused the woman into apostasy. This, if I'm scoring, I will give you -0 over 10. A prostitute in the Lord's church is equal to a virgin in the world. In case you don't know, I will marry a prostitute in the Lord's church than going to the world to marry a virgin. Marrying from outside the world is similar to a goat which has been skinned, where the goat has no leather. It is prone to pests, to disease. It can easily be infested and infected by a disease. Even the wind alone can blow germs because the goat has no skin or leather. How dare you? Who are you? And how dare you compare God's child to Satan's child? Someone who is already in the Lord's church and someone who is yet to be taught. So supposing that you marry a wife who attends a Pentecost, whilst you are sleeping, she's speaking in tongues. And speaking in tongues is forbidden these days. How will you balance this friction or conflict? She's paying tithes, you don't pay tithes. A whole lot. While you are in the home, reasoning, then is where she stands to speak in tongues. Because her spirit of tongues has now appeared. When you give birth, which church will the children attend? Pentecost, I'm using it as an example, actually. Pentecost or Church of Christ. Where will they go? If I'm questioning you, where will they go? And for all you know, now you are young, so you can control her, okay? The Bible is saying that the heart of King Solomon was turned when he was old. And you are hereby informed that old or old age comes with its own weaknesses. At times, you are passing by, you may greet an old man. He finds it so difficult to recognize who you are. The person could be your teacher, your master. Maybe you have traveled and you are not coming to pay him or her a visit. You're going to narrate the stories before. Sometimes the person will not even recall who you are entirely. Old age comes with its own problems. Forgetfulness, weakness, the mind becomes weak, visually impaired. Sometimes the walking is even a problem. Then was when his heart was turned against his God. So you sit down there and then challenge that I know of Christians who are now who have now left the Lord's church. And I know a man who married from, let's say, a denomination, and they are now faithful Christians in the Lord's church. I don't dispute that. Now, in the Bible, no Bible verse is proving that marry a Christian or Antichrist by force. No. But it is recommended based on King Solomon's issue. It has become vital importance. That means importance squared. To learn some senses from him or from his apostasy. I will not sit in the church or stand in the church to advocate that any member should go and marry from different congregations. That one is expensive cost. Can cost your salvation. In case you run away. The saddest part is the women or the girls, because you are going to live under the authority of the husband. So if this husband is attending any denomination, he drags you there. How dare you to challenge him that I will go to my own, unless you are permitted. But he will have to guarantee that. What if he does not? And those who are in the world, these boys who are in the world, cheating is nothing to them. Cheating is nothing. It is rather some kind of I would say award, or has become a trend where the boys will meet and discuss about this. Oh, I'm dating this. I have also extended to this. I have 2 girlfriends. I have a wife, 2 girlfriends. So they have been wasting money and their strength on foolish things. Why should you waste your strength on women? I mean, for what? To gain what? Those who did it, they were not given any national award. Those who womanized, they were not given any national award. Some even died of STDs. Some died melancholy. In case you are facing problem with childbearing, because your husband is in the world, he will cheat on you to go and give birth elsewhere. Because for them, in their churches, everything goes. And even if the church is not the church is preventing them, they will still do it. There are several reasons why you must marry if you're a Christian in the Lord's church. I am saying that a prostitute in the Lord's church is equal to a virgin in a denomination. So think about this. I didn't even say. I said a prostitute who is in the Lord's church is far better and best than a virgin who is in any denomination or in the world. It will be a waste of time to go out and marry someone and bring her into the Lord's church. I will never do that. I said that it is expensive risk that you are taking. How can I live under my own roof with an antichrist? How can you go and bring a burden onto yourself? Petrol and fire has no linkage. The moment there is air, then fire will start or will spark. We do not experiment. So the Bible is saying that fools mock at sin. Only a fool will experiment this. Ecclesiastes 5, verse 15 to 17. Be careful how you walk as wise, not a fool, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Be careful how you walk as wise, not a fool means that. Choose your associate carefully. Verse 16. Redeeming the time because the days are evil. 1. You must utilize the time others have been wasting. 2. Be careful so that no one will use the traditions of men, worldly wisdom, in the form of a craftiness to brainwash you. So the verse 15 and 16 are caveats. And when you have refused to listen, then the verse 17 is saying that, therefore, do not be foolish, but understand the will of the Lord. The phrase, do not be foolish, means that pay heed to instructions in order to become wise. Which instructions? The 15 and the 16. The will of the Lord is doing things right. Simple. The teachings isn't on to marry a Christian or unbeliever. But I was using the scenario of King Solomon, that he married 700 princesses, princesses and 300 concubines. And when he was old, 1 Kings 11 verse 1 to 4 is where you have all this story. When he was old, his heart was turned against the Lord, but rather after the lesser gods. And at the end, he died on the shrine. That's why we call him the wisest fool, because he began with God and ended with Satan. Anyone who ends his life with Satan is a fool. Why? Because no salvation, but the punishment upon all what you are doing for Satan: the killing, the womanizing, the manizing, the drinking. At the end, Satan is still not going to grant you any comfortability, but rather eternal punishment. Even when you die now, you go to a Tartarus. So temporal punishment will start before you go to hell after the final judgment. So you can see that Satan has nothing to offer mankind. So I'm surprised. Those who are joining Freemason, Illuminati, drinking, killing, womanizing, dancing, betting. I wonder who has brainwashed them. That's why in the Bible it is saying that we must be fools for Christ. Now let's check. I think 1 Corinthians 4 verse 10. A. Let me see. 1 Corinthians 4 verse 10. I don't remember, but let me see. Very good. The A. We are fools for Christ's sake. Very good. So me, I prefer to be a fool for Christ than to be a wife for Satan. When I'm a fool for Christ, he will grant me heaven. If you are a wife for Satan, he will grant you hell. You go to become a fool then. But as I'm a fool on this earth, I will go to heaven and become wise. Worshipping Satan will get you nothing, absolutely nothing. All right, we move on. Marriage is a true blessing from God. Of course, Ecclesiastes 9 verse 9. Let's read something there. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 9. Oh, marriage is good. Two are better than one. And in these days, if you don't marry, it is a sin. So don't be brainwashed that you can choose not to marry. Like you are wasting your time. You see, a Bible should not be read as a graphic or newspaper, or as if you are watching a television news. Live joy-free with the wife whom you love all the days of your vain life, which he has given you under the sun. All your days of vanity. For that is your portion in life, and in the labor which you perform under the sun. The phrase is vain life. Now, the vain life here means that it is not everlasting. Okay, that's all. You will not enjoy with your wife, all the days of your life. I mean, there could be quarrel and a whole, and even if there's no quarrel, life is limited. At least you will die. Marriage is a true blessing from God. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 9. But not even a wonderful marriage can bear the load of being life's ultimate purpose. It is evident in this age of serial polygamy that some are still seeking to find transcendent happiness in marriage, running from one partner to another to experiment. Happiness is found only in the Lord. That's all. Happiness is not found in marriage. True happiness isn't found in words. True happiness is found in the Lord. The phrase is in the Lord. A life with regard for God is when you are happy. So people have married. Initially, we are all rushing to marriage. But marriage is sweet. You're going to enjoy your life with your partner. So brainwashedly, we all rush into it. Sometimes it is even as bitter, more than we expected or anticipated. Some have died, some have been killed, some have become mad due to marriage. Impulse marriage, actually. So happiness is not found in marriage. If so, why the cheating? That the boy was so fascinated with the wife, who will marry his or her enemy in this life? Who will officially go for a list of a woman whom he hates and then perform the wedding? This doesn't happen unless maybe they want to use this person for rituals, but otherwise we marry our lovers. And the book here is saying that if it is so, why is it that people are still seeking transcendent happiness, happiness upon happiness, jumping from one partner to another to experiment? They want to explore, they want to be adventurous, to see whether being with this girl, being with a nurse is sweeter than being with a teacher, being with a caterer is sweeter than an accountant, being with a banker is better than a trader. They do experimenting. They are experimenting day in and day out. That's why we are polygamy. If not, why polygamy? Because you are married, you have a wife and a husband. Why are you not happy if you are claiming that happiness is found in marriage? Then don't complain. True happiness is found in the Lord. So therefore, we say that partners are running from one place to the other to experiment. They want to test their hypothesis to see that a fair woman is beautiful than dark woman. The fairer is beautiful than the fair. By marrying a white woman, the last is better and best than a Ghanaian woman. There's a continuous experimentation. But not all pleasure is sensual. Yes, not all pleasure is sensual. Fleshy. I made my works great. I built myself houses and planted myself vineyards. I made gardens and orchards, and I planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. That's what we have read already, Ecclesiastes 12, verse 4 and 5. Failing to find life's meaning in physical gratifications, Solomon turns to more substantial when we say substantial, of course, it will be an adjective. We mean steady. Adjective. So Solomon turns to more substantial and valuable pleasures. The creating of great palaces and delightful gardens. So he had a great earthly power and wealth. And then he had great God's blessings. The multiplication of great herds and flocks and accumulation of great wealth. The purpose of all this frenetic building. Frenetic. Some of these words mostly are cheap to find a part of speech. So adjective, actually, frenetic, So adjective. Yeah, I'm sure. So frenetic breathing was to somehow bring a sense of fulfillment and peace compared to his plunge into sensuality. It was certainly a step up. So frenetic means that marked by fast energy. If you want, you can say anxiety, or you can say anxiety-driven activity. Okay, anxiety-driven activity. So we say that the purpose of all this frenetic breathing was now the breathing here isn't about this rock, but rather to accumulate. You see, he was trying to pile up money, influence, fame, and enjoyment. So we say anxiety-driven activities. Solomon did find pleasure in the midst of his work. Ecclesiastes 2 verse 10. Let's read something there. Ecclesiastes 2 verse 10. Whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them. I did not withhold my heart from any pleasure. For my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was my reward from all my labor. So he enjoyed life officially. But when it was done, he reflected on it as ultimate meaningless. 2 verse 11. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had done, and on the labor in which I had toiled, and indeed all was vanity and grasping for the wind. There was no profit under the sun. Solomon, with his virtually limitless resources, had restricted himself from no desired pleasure or pursuit, and it worked to make him surpassingly great among men. Yet, for all his achievements, he concluded with an emptiness maybe even greater than that with which he began. It was destined to fail. It was destined to fail from the beginning because he was searching in the wrong places and always for the wrong aim for himself. Ecclesiastes 2 verse 4 to 6 and then verse 8. So you see that when he began to live sensually, when he began to disregard God, was when he also diverted or deviated from worshiping God. The heart was turned from God. And it is a human pride to seek more, not is content to what he or she has. People want to make money. They have made money, they are pretty rich. They still make money. Greediness. They don't even mind killing you. I know people, if I'm working with them, they find it so hard to even pay you on time. No, the person has enough money. And the least amount that he gives you monthly to the sometimes 2 months or 3 months, you still unpaid. No, this person has money. He bathed with money. So also Solomon. He became a covetous person. He wanted more. Now, when we read about money, it is saying that it is similar to bathing in the seawater. The more you drink the seawater, the more tastier you become. So the more the money, the more the covetousness. So therefore, you're going to interlock yourself as if you are in a cage and you're now being controlled by the world. So it is saying that life is not made of pleasure and palaces. And initially we said that the palaces is reference to earthly power and wealth. Then the pleasure is God's blessings. For example, maybe what you have had from God. This brings us to the end of the pedagogy of chapter 2, episode 1. Next time, we will continue from, as I said, 2 verse 2 to 26. When life dead ends, and then it will end on death is blind to wisdom and foolishness. On that note, my number is 0248 026557 0248 026557. Bishop Atta is my name at the Church of Christ. This is my name for the truth. It is non-profitable organization. So don't think that someone is paying me. No. Rather, I'm using my resources to fund the program. So if you want to donate, my number has been given. God bless you on that. And you can call or chat. Please, we are learning. We are all learning. I would love to make corrections. So in case you find some errors, try to chat or comment on the video, both on YouTube and then Facebook. And subscribe and then follow the channel and then the page. Until then, see you next time with the continuation. Bye-bye.